Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Access Me Salon, where I will be exploring thousands of access consciousness classes recorded over the last 30 years. The first recording from 1986 until 2022. Join me and find out who likes what class best. I will be interviewing guests from all over the world, people who came to Access very early and who recently joined. So come and explore the world of Access Me. Welcome to this session of Access Me Salon. I am today here with Mr. Brendon Watt, joining me from Budapest. Welcome,
Hello,
Brendon.
my friend. Hello,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
I like the name. Access Me Salon. That sounds good.
When I like your background, it is the appropriate salon
Well,
background.
if it's going to be a salon, I mean, come on.
A salon is actually a room where people met in order to discuss certain topics. So we are here today to talk about a class that you found on the Access Me app. And that was, I should call it, fascinating for you. So fascinating and world changing that you chose it for our session today. What is that class called?
I chose the art of creation.
The Art of Creation. That
Yeah,
sounds amazing. I do remember this class. I think it was in Venice in
it was
2017,
2018 in Venice.
2018 in Venice. So the class was a 3-day class. Is that correct?
I think 3 or maybe 4.
So if you started listening to the recordings now, what is so fascinating about that class? What inspired you, or what was the gift of re-listening to the class for you? What is that one thing that aha moment? Why did you choose this class to be our topic today?
Well, I mean, it's not easy to choose a class when you're choosing from that app. I mean, it's got thousands of classes on it. And I've also been fortunate enough to be at a lot of them. Like in the last 14 years, I've been at almost every class. So, but this one, in listening to it again, it basically starts off talking about conclusion and conclusionary realities as this thing where anytime we come to them, we can't receive anything that doesn't match it. And we're so good at stopping ourselves with conclusion. And I've heard this 8 billion times, but it's like you listen to a class and it goes in a different way. And that's what I love about Access is, like I said, 14 years I've been doing it, and I'll still hear things from 10 years ago and be like, oh man, that just went in a different way.
So talking about conclusion, I remember that I think last week it was actually still topic in a class. So is this something that people just are not willing to choose or change? What is your perception of do people not get it? Do people need more time?
My thing is we've been taught that, like if we look at the world we live in, if we look at the way that we've been brought up, if we look at the way that we've been conditioned with things, it's have an answer, and before you go to create, come to conclusion about what it is you're going to create. So nothing's about question. Like I remember nothing's about true question. And I remember when I started Access and everything was about, the access in any class, it starts with learning how to ask a question so that you can become it. And so question for me was, I remember thinking, well, how do I know what I'm asking for? Like, I didn't even get the concept of question. I was like, question? Like, what do you mean? Like, if I ask a question, where's the answer? Like, and so this is where true creation begins, is first of all, recognize that creation is choice. So every time we choose, we create something, but then we come to so many conclusions about it that we just stop it. Like
Yeah. So when you say you come to so many conclusions, and especially looking at the benefit of the Art of Creation class, can you give an example for creating based on conclusions? and creating based on question?
Well, I think even with starting from a question of, what's it going to take to have more money in my life? What's it going to take for me to receive more money? What's it going to take for me to make more money? Okay, there's a question and a choice, and then from that choice, tomorrow you get another bill in the mail that's $200. See, damn it, I never have money. That's the conclusion that stops us. So it's like each day we're creating with question to the degree that we're willing to actually be in allowance with it. And, I've had to get really present in my world with even like now, definitely now. And with, man, that's a conclusion, or I'll find myself run off in my head on some thought train that's, oh, this isn't working, or that's going to stop, or this has to change. And it's just like, none of that was a question.
Well, we learn at school, at university, everywhere where you go to educate yourself, people tend to tell you you need to concentrate and you need to focus, and then you will be successful. So is focusing, is that what we learn? Is that coming to conclusion, or is that literally putting energy into our creation so we finally get what we want?
Well, if you look at people are taught to, have a target or have a goal and then focus on it, and then so you do that, but that's the only thing that you can receive. It's the only thing that you're actually present with. So you've already come to a conclusion about it. But, I was facilitating a foundation class the other day and talking about being present, because for a lot of us, we've taught being present is being focused. But it's not, because you miss everything that you don't have your attention on based on being focused on one thing. So I think that's the thing of being present, which is such a big gift with this topic of conclusion, because we don't even know we're coming to them. You go like, you're just like, oh man, I just came to 8,000 conclusions. I didn't even realize it. But being present is moment by moment. It's not trying to think, well, what did I do yesterday that was a mistake, and what am I going to do tomorrow to fix it? It's, what question do I have available right now?
That's beautiful. What question available now? Wow.
That also is what I love about this class too, because creation is an art.
So what is the art of creation for you?
But that being present, and actually creating not based on what I've decided I need, but based on what's actually going to create something greater. And I think a good example of this is Gary Douglas. And the other thing I find interesting about this class is this is while the castle in Italy is being renovated, and so it's midway through that, and now there's a beautiful castle there.
Yeah, so that class took place while renovation was going on, and now it's this stunning, beautiful, nurturing, luxury boutique hotel where you can actually go and visit Castello di Casalborgone. Check it out if you want to see the art of creation in action. Thank you for that reminder. I'm going there for New Year's this year. I'm very excited.
Nice.
So you also said you just facilitated a foundation. You're an access consciousness facilitator. Are you using the app as a facilitator? Are you listening in to answer questions that come up in class? How do you use the app as a facilitator of access consciousness?
Well, I would definitely recommend that. I mean, because you get questions on everything, questions on business, questions on sex, questions on relationship, questions on bodies, questions on future, questions, and so it's like, I remember when I first started facilitating, I was just horrified that what if somebody asked me a question that I have that I don't know the answer? And Gary's like, where did you decide that facilitating was about having an answer? It's about having a question. And so the app, it's like I can't think of a topic that there's not of a, a class on.
So you said you started Access Consciousness 14 years ago. Do you remember your very first Access class with Gary Douglas?
Like it was this morning.
Which
I
class was
never
it, and where
forget.
do we find it? So
So-
if we want to hear you asking your very first question when you came to Access, what class do we need to look for?
Yeah. Okay. Good. I like. Still, this is a good manipulation. I like this. So I was in Brisbane, Australia, and it would have been 2010. It was a level 2 and 3 class, and I found out I actually did this bars class, and I found these books that Gary had. This girl was giving me books. One of them was Talk to the Animals, which had his picture on the front cover with the horse.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I saw that photo. I was like, how do I meet this man? And the girl that was doing the bars class, she said, well, he's going to be in Brisbane, this weekend. And I was like, oh, cool. Can I, I wanted to go and meet him. And she's like, no, but you need the prerequisite for this class, which is foundation. So I had a full-time job. So I went and did foundation that week from 6 p.m. until midnight, every night that week, to get to Brisbane. And I'll never forget that class. And I remember actually asking Gary, I was sitting in the front row, just like, what? This man is talking about just everything that is, and the thing that I remember about that class so well was I was like, how does he know me better than I know myself? Like he knew things about me that nobody did.
So did you go back and listen to yourself asking your
I
very
haven't yet on that one. No, but it would actually be interested because I'll tell on myself. Okay. I look back and I often tell this story just in classes with kind of giving people permission to just start from where they're at, and I say, look, when I first came along to that class, a level 2 and 3 class with Gary Douglas, I said, what I thought I was asking for at that point was more relationships or more sex and more money. That was it, and it's like, but for me at that time, it's like, that was all that I saw that had value to me.
So if you look at that moment or your life when you came to your first class and you look at your life now, and if I ask you that question, what changed?
Well, everything. And I don't know if I could pinpoint that to anything, but it's just, boy, has it been a journey. It really has. It's just been, put it this way, you wouldn't have had me on doing this. Like I remember the first time I started recording process loops, right? Process loops for Gary's, I think it was Creative Edge, or it was called the Gold Club or something. So this would have been about 7, maybe 8 years ago. So all I'm doing is recording a process loop. And so I'm sitting in this room doing it. It literally took me 3 hours to record 10 minutes because I was so nervous. The idea of showing up in front of anything was just petrifying to me. I was terrified of it.
Well, and now you just show up here, talk to me. You are facilitating classes, and you are traveling the world. I think this is one of the greatest gifts that I saw people choosing. They get to travel everywhere.
Yeah.
So where did you travel recently? What is how does your year look like as an access consciousness facilitator?
Oh, my goodness. Well, actually, I packed up my house in Houston a couple of months ago because I was like, I need something different. I found myself just creating a life and not really living. So I packed my house up and I'm traveling at this point. And I've been which has been interesting. You know, for me, I always kind of had a home to go to, and this has been pushing me forward in a different way. So I'm in Budapest at the moment. I'm going to Rome next week. I'm going to Russia after that, and then I've got other, you know, and then I'm Mexico and Costa Rica and El Lugar.
So you mean you literally travel the world, north, east, south, west.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm just a gypsy at the moment.
Well, going back to the class you chose, the art of creation, looking at how you create your life now and having listened to that class, other than conclusion, what is it that makes you value and honor this class so much now that you're using obviously the tools that you heard on that class?
I would like, I mean, for anyone who's kind of tapping into and hearing about access at the moment, also they will hear that creations has just become a part of the clearing statement. Like it's gone through. We've talked about creation has been a topic in access from the beginning. You know, in the awareness that every choice we make creates. So there's been a lot of stuff recently about creation. And so going back to, 6 years ago, talking about creation, it's still, you can see how one doorway gets opened in one of these classes, and then people start choosing something different. And then another one gets open, people start choosing something different. But it's all so relevant to today still. You know, and for me, I love the way Gary and Dane dive into that topic.
So for those listeners who have not done a lot of access classes or just a bars facilitator and they download the app, what is your recommendation? Where to start? How to start? What is the first class they should look at? You are very experienced. You probably know of them. So for those who have no experience, what would your advice be? How to start on Access Me?
Well, I would just, I would scroll through it. But here's one thing I'll say, because, if you've done bars and you wonder, how did the bars get created? Well, the bars didn't come from here. You know, the bars were channeled. Gary Douglas channeled them from a being called Rasputin. And these RAS files that are in the Access Me app, they're fascinating, because it's also, this was, I don't know, I guess 25 plus years ago. And and you can, the thing that I love about some of these ones that I've listened to is you're in there and they're going, Raz, like, what color should I paint my house? And, and Raz, what color, what should I do on the weekend? And you just like, oh my God, and then you hear Dane in the room going, hey, Raz, how do I change my whole life? And hey, Raz, like, what's the, and he's asking these questions, and it's amazing. So getting a sense of the beginnings of access also is like, it's been such a journey.
So 25 plus years of class recordings. I don't know how many years you could listen to it. Do you have how often do you listen to the app? What's your general routine?
I listen to classes pretty much nonstop, unless I get to a point where I've been a little bit at that point today, because I've had classes on all day, and I had classes on all night last night and the night before, and I've been facilitating, and I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I need Netflix for a couple hours, but I always have classes on, like I'm on Dane's got Dive In with Dane, and there's process loops, and I have classes on whenever I can, because for me, they create a different energy in my life.
Wonderful.
And
So
if I'm not using the tools, I'm creating shit.
so art of creation, definitely your favorite. If there was a
Well, can I
second,
say one thing? Can I say
yeah,
one thing on the art of creation too? I'm pretty sure that, like, we were both at that class. I'm pretty sure that was like a $4,000 class. It may have been
about, yes,
more. Yeah,
yes.
$4,000 class, and just saying.
You now get it for a membership of $275 a month. Oh well.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
Beautiful, amazing contribution for all of the people out there who desire to have a different future or desire change. For those out there, art of creation, what's your second favorite, if you have any?
That is a good question. You know, the other one that I was actually, I was going to talk to you about instead of doing this one was also the art of having, and that was a telecall that was done, I think, about 4 years ago, and it really talked about this. It talked about a lot of things with the willingness to lose, but also what are you unwilling to be that doesn't allow you to have things. And it was such a simple yet complex look at the art of, like, having and
Wow.
receiving.
Well, I think this is the one class that I will now listen to and
It's
get
so
prepared
good.
for my next interview. Thank you so much, Brendon, for
Thank
coming
you,
on
David.
here.
I love that
Enjoy
you're doing this.
listening, enjoy facilitating, and enjoy Netflix. Thank you, Brendon.
Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.